Hi, this is Dr. Dante Uzzieri. Today we're going to discuss something a little different than usual. It's basically the method in which the police are chasing cars in the USA that are trying to escape from them. The police generally use a helicopter above the car to see where the car is going. That is, the car that is racing away from the police. And then the police follow with either one car or many cars to trap the evading car. They go at extremely high speeds, and frequently there's accidents involved where the escaping car or the police car hit innocent cars that are driving on the highway. I've always wondered why the police don't use a simple method to stop the escaping car. Every car has to have an internal combustion engine. In the internal combustion engine, a spark is generated by a voltage that is derived from a so-called spark coil or ignition coil. The way the ignition coil works, it has a primary coil, which is heavier wire, and a secondary coil, which is lighter wire, and a large number of curls around the primary wire. This causes the voltage in the coil and the secondary coil to go very, very high. And this coil is basically a transformer. It takes the 12 volts from the battery and brings them up to 30 or 40,000 volts, but a very low amperage. This high voltage can break through the air, and it can cause what is known as a spark gap. So the spark gap ignites the gasoline in the piston and causes an explosion. And that explosion causes the piston to go down, and this turns the crankshaft, which in turn turns the wheels, and this makes the car go. The way to stop the motor from running is simply to superimpose the electromagnetic force from a larger coil to the spark coil or ignition coil in the motor. This can be done very easily by putting a large coil in a drone and then having the drone fly over the motor of the speeding car or escaping car. The large coil over the motor will suppress the voltage of the secondary coil which is located in the ignition coil. This will stop the sparks from exploding inside the pistons, and the motor will stop. I'm going to explain that one more time, and I hope somebody picks up on it and figures out how to do it in a practical sense. The ignition coil has two coils within it, a primary coil, secondary coil. And the secondary coil has a very high voltage because there are a large number of coils around the primary coil. This is basically a step-up transformer. And then that voltage goes to the spark plug and then jumps across the gap in the spark plug and causes a little flame which ignites the gasoline. The way to stop this ignition coil is by hovering a larger coil over the motor of the escaping car, or over the motor that we want to stop. The larger coil will suppress the secondary coil, and there will be no spark gap. So this is the way to do it. I'm sure there are technicians, engineers, and whatever out in the world that can figure this out precisely, and they will put their coil in a drone. The police in their car following this, the escaping car, can direct the drone over the escaping car, and whammo, the motor will stop. Hope you enjoyed this video.